on a different angle on something called Sharanagati. And Sharanagati means surrender. Surrender, chanting with surrender. We had, just for information, the beginning of the Japa workshop looks at aligning, but in a physical aspect. You know that the body, the right position, the mind, the heart, somehow. And then after this, we spoke about that when we chant, it is to try to understand that there is a relationship between myself and what I'm chanting or who I'm chanting to. It's not just for us, okay, someone told me, maybe it's a nice thing to do, or it felt nice, just a bit deeper. It's a relationship. After this, we spoke about chanting as a service. So in the material world, it's a little bit like, come on, who are you? Servant? It's a bit low class, or it's a bit low. Sorry, going to slightly Cockney because there's at least 2 Brits here. Sorry, and the rest of you can understand me. So, but it's like in this, we're normally taught to be the best, to aim to be the very highest, to look over. But there in the Bhakti Yoga tradition, it's about I'm a servant. Doesn't mean that we should be trodden all over. Of course, we're not talking about being abused. But there is this level of let me serve somebody, and not always according to how I want to serve them. We spoke today, whoever was there at lunchtime, about when you have children, it's not really about, okay, I'll do X, Y, and Z with them. You have to see... Oh God, okay. Charo will test me on it. Like, so I might say, Charo, okay, today I would like to... tidy up your bedroom. It's very important for you to have a nice environment for you to play. And you'll be like, oh, Mama, come on, give me a break. You know, like, oh, it's hard, I don't want to do that. And if it's Murari, he may even make a little show, you know, very upset show of how dare you even ask me such a thing. And I'm like, okay, maybe not today, you know, something like this. So there is a plan, but on the same side, if I leave the children to sit there just in a pile of mess, if it's dirty, then it's also not good. I do leave them with a pile of toys, but I try to be clean around the edges, like this. So it's like, it's trying to serve not always necessarily to what I want, but something in order to please the other person. Within a level, right? After this, we spoke about Vipralamba, which actually is the most difficult, I find, for myself, which is chanting with a sense of longing. Vipralamba means attaining something which is at a distance. And this is where the Sanskrit wording is much nicer than the translation. For us, longing is, oh, I want this. But Vipralamba indicates I'd like something, and in this aspect, the divine or the God or something higher, but it feels very far away. Like this George Harrison song, My Sweet Lord. I really want to see you, but it takes so long, you know, like this. It's this sort of element of, can I see you, yeah? Yes. And then last week, we began on the topic of Sharanagati, which is chanting in the mode of surrender. And immediately we go into the idea of receiving what's called the divine gift of premadana. So this is the divine gift of love. It is said there in the sixth verse, so whoever comes sometimes in the morning, the 6th verse, we read all of it now. Nayanam galadashrudaraya varnam gadgadarudaya gira pulake nichitam vapukada tavanam agrani bhavishyati. Not generally like that, that's not really with the beat, but you know. So the translation. My dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautified by filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs on my body stand erect in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy name? So I don't like to avoid topics. So it's this element when today we could understand that sometimes the Lord is so overpowering and His mercy that we are brought to tears, even at a time which may not be, what's the word, when you wanted it to be, when nobody was around. This happened to me more than enough times here. And sometimes I wonder, why did it have to be right at that moment? Why couldn't it have been, the whole day nobody was there and just at that moment? And it happens exactly as it's meant to happen, at the exact time that it's meant to happen. And afterwards, I have to say, this is very much my Britishness. It's like, it wasn't me crying. It's okay. I'm good now, yeah? Someone asks you, I'm fine, related, fine, completely fine. I was just having a moment, we say moment. But actually, what's a bit unfortunate there is trying to avoid the fact that actually maybe something beautiful is happening. That sometimes our walls are breaking down around us, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we walk this path of bhakti yoga, and after a time we think, okay, let me wear the right sari and put this on, and then, hair's up there, I look proper, I look the part. But it's not really, it should not just fit or stop at that moment, I'm a little bit of a rebel, so I'm like, what could I wear that's a bit different here, that I'm not a sheep or something. I think I'm different enough, it's okay. Let's go with it. So basically, it's also being comfortable enough in one's skin to also feel or wear whatever one needs to wear, but also to go deeper than just what is actually overcoming our senses. Charyo, really slowly. Yes, put it down and let go. So so we wear the right clothes, we have the right tilak, we know, okay, bead bag, that's what you call it, just bead bag. I have a nice one, made by Hugo Boss, by the way. Hugo Boss, yeah. Really is, no, really, yeah. They donated the cloth. So yeah, it's nice, it's good quality. I know I have to chant this nice mantra here. I saw the yogis do it. Maybe I will become enlightened, or maybe something else will happen. That's not really the point, right? That's not the point of why we chant Hare Krishna. Yes, sure, it's an ant, yes. It's okay. If it was a spider, I would ask you to remove it, but an ant is okay. Like this. But what's good about Charu, you'll also see when we do the exercise, is that he's all in. There's not much of a filter. And sometimes in life we filter a little bit too much. Charu, stop it, seriously. Thank you. But the filter that we sometimes do is that barrier between us and God, us and the divine, us and understanding that actually something which may not be something that one can hold on to or tangible in one way is actually real. And that chanting is putting us to an aspect that takes us over, that these beads, this chanting is expressed as non-different from the Lord Himself. So it's almost like a easy but also tricky concept. Because you're like, okay, it sounds nice, but in actuality, to experience it. Therefore, these are called workshops. We actually don't just talk about the philosophy, but we put it a little bit in action. And sometimes it may be, as we try to put it into action, it doesn't work in that moment. But what I ask everyone to do is go in at a different angle, personally, private time, or with others, and see where it may work. Yes. So the Lord Chaitanya is the one praying to receive this gift of love. So he's asking, when will the tears flow down? And there is also someone called Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that reveals thoughts and emotions as he entered deeper and deeper into the heart of Radharani. Continuing to speak in a mood, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Without love of God, my life is useless. Therefore, I pray that you accept me as your servant and give me the salary of ecstatic love of God." I won't read that part. Stop it, just don't touch it. Take the bead back and you can touch this. There is, who has heard of Lord Chaitanya here? Of course, there's Lord Chaitanya. It's maybe new to Yosefa. Lord Chaitanya is said, just as a quick, I don't know if you experienced when you were in India. Yosefa was quite a long time in India, right? Did you go ever to an ISKCON temple where you maybe saw a picture of Lord Chaitanya? I don't even have a picture. Oh, there, Lord Chaitanya, thank you. Because it said, we are known as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So basically, we follow Krishna, but we follow in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And so 500 years ago, he came, and through singing and dancing, it awoke this ecstatic feeling of love. So in previous ages, sometimes they would sit in meditation, or they would just do fire yagyas, other ways to reach the Lord. But it's saying in Kali Yuga, it's just too hard, all of it. It's all so difficult. And as some of you may know, I come from London. So I don't normally hide away from the fact that I was into the party scene in my 20s. But I could relate, and most of the people I hung about with at that time could relate to the fact that the best vision of what was cool was going to a party and dancing and music blaring quite loud as, loud enough that the next day your head's still spinning, right? So it was like this, and it still is fairly common, right, in this world to say, okay, put a good song on. I don't know if people use radios anymore, but, some good singing, music, dancing. Which is why actually Lord Chaitanya is very up to date, yeah? Because actually his idea was we sing and dance our way back to the Lord. And in that vision, he actually sort of shows us this mood of how to be a devotee. He doesn't really care so much for the regulations or what's going on in one sense. He's just looking for God. And half the time he's searching, like, where are you? Where are you? To the point that it goes, to the higher levels of ecstasy. And it's said that we can also misunderstand this and think his expression of where are you, Lord, can sound, it says, like tragic love to our ears. But actually it's the highest summit of spiritual bliss. And sometimes also it can be, okay, I don't have this, but you see when the emotions come, where are they coming from? Is it just, okay, I had a bad day? Not really. It's because something is penetrating into a deeper part of us for us to realize that actually there is more to this way than just a process. And most of you will know that actually in the temple what we do very often is kirtan. Kirtan. What were you going to say, Chara? Kirtan, kirtan, kirtan. I could feel it coming up. There is a nice guru, Indrajumna Swami, who's like, comes at the moment, it's like kirtan, 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 and then it just begins rolling on. In kirtan and japa, so referring to our meditation with the beads, we surrender to the Lord by expressing our heart. I belong only to you. Then we may joyfully travel in our minds or physically to the holy places, relate to the Lord, and enjoy the life of a surrendered soul. So it speaks in this book about going to a place like Vrindavan or another place. But I would also like to speak about thank you, Charu, you knew the answer, the holy place of Simhachalam. So some of us may not be so fortunate to go so often to Vrindavan, or some of us may be fortunate enough to go to Vrindavan, but like me, coming actually from a Western world, be like, oh my God, it's so loud here, or it's so hot here, or it's so dirty here, or it's so... Why are they so close to me? Like there's some cultures that don't understand physical space, which like, yeah, it's hard basically sometimes. And this can overwhelm the mind a little bit to be there peacefully the whole time. Like for a few weeks I'm fine, but longer, little like, okay, I want to go before any offenses are made. But when you go to a place like Simhachalam, we're in Germany, the weather is pretty good, I would say. It's not too hot, not too cold, something in between. It's comfortable. If I go for a walk in the forest, I hopefully won't meet a poisonous snake or something along the way. I can have some peace. People understand, there's some room around. Apart from the festival we will have next week, where we will maybe struggle to find some space. It's a different sort of modus of being, but a holy place is still a holy place. Lord Nrsingadev is extremely powerful. It is that Lord Nrsingadev is there to help us overcome our inner anarthas. How do I describe anarthas? Our inner anarthas, more the struggles, our inner conflicts, that's a good word, inner conflicts that stop us from reaching Radha Krishna. So Lord Nrsingadev is here. Most people will say, if you'll spend some time with him, he's very present. Try it. Try a honest from heart prayer and you'll see how he reciprocates. It's a little scary, in fact. Sometimes it's a bit like, whoa. It happened to me a number of times. That normally the ladies come off for something, sometimes Prabhus, but ladies, and they say, oh, this happened to me. And I'm like, oh, what did you pray for? Oh, what was it? What did you pray? And like 9 out of 10 times, it's some prayer that they could fully understand they prayed. The Lord answered it, but the answer was a little bit too close to the surface, And then it's a bit like, whoa, So one has to... Oh, your foot? The Jagannath story? Okay. It's a very nice Jagannath story. Our little miracle story, though, of what really happened here with Charu at 4 years old. So we have a kinder camp every year. And who has been or heard of Jagannath Puri or Rathayatra? No. Yosifa, Rathayatra, they call it in India, Jagannath Puri. Jagannath is... You know who I mean by Jagannath? Jagannath, your big, black, smiling, effulgent face, It's like if you see him, then you'll maybe remember him. And he has a huge chariot that Prabhupada brought this concept of this, what do they call it, festival of chariots across to the whole world. In New York and England and different places. Europe, everywhere. It's massive, actually. And Jagannath is a very powerful form of the Lord, very happy form. And on this cart, we have a sort of smaller cart, but the wheels are like this high and sort of metal, the one that we have here. And the children in the children's camp are there to try to... it's their festival. It's their festival, basically. So I was like, okay, how do we make them engage? So my husband, Ramananda Gopal, is very dramatic, so he had dramatic vision. And then, and then it was like, yeah, okay, now you clean the car, make garlands, decorate. So everybody, all the kids were happily running around doing things. Cart was ready, and suddenly it starts raining like crazy. It's like raining, and I'm like, it's not nice, it's raining. And Suchitra, if you know her, she is like a bit like a fireball. Doesn't matter. That should not stop us. And I was like, yeah, but a little bit. They're quite young. So it'd been raining a long time. The floor was, I guess, a bit slippery, but it was just a little shadow. So I was like, okay, let's begin a Rathayatra. This thing, and we're going around. Actually, it's this corner. Charu, 4 years old. Ramananda's in front. Charu's behind. In the middle, I'm behind him. We're going around. He's got an umbrella. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The cart goes around this corner. Charu slips and falls. His little skinny 4-year-old leg goes, and there's nothing I can do, in the whole wheel, this massive wheel, goes over Charu's leg. Ramananda stops at the second wheel, doesn't, because it rolled back. The second one didn't go over. And Charu's screaming. In pain or for his umbrella, something he's screaming. We have Dr. Jagadish, who is the head of surgery in a local hospital, and says usually for a 4-year-old that skinny, you'd have to maybe call a helicopter because it's quite dangerous for his foot. He's screaming, we take him back. Charu doesn't have so much time on watching cartoons, so it only took him cartoons to actually calm him down, actually. But so it was like, and a friend came to visit him, chanting, but it was quite dramatic because as a parent, you think, what could I have done? But it was literally both parents were either side, and you just see it, and you see with your own eyes the wheels, that what seems massive compared to his little leg. And then the doctor said, be careful, the next overnight it will be the worst, we can't go over. And then I was praying, which is probably why Charu asked. He asked me earlier on the day, in the morning, if Nrsingadev is real, if he's real, why doesn't he get up and walk around? And I couldn't answer Charu. So I prayed to Lord Nrsingadev and said, dear Lord, please can you show how you are real, especially for my boy Charu. So this was the prayer earlier in the day. I thought, maybe someone will tell him a nice story or something. So, okay. So I'm like completely confused and a little bit bewildered because also I take care of the kids' camp. So I'm just, okay, maybe I have to go to hospital the next day. We pray and we sit. And in the nighttime, I'm waiting for something to happen, but Charu sleeps the whole night. And then, which is also a surprise, because the doctor had said, don't worry, he'll be up. The next day, I asked Charu, okay, is it hurting, Charu? And I'm like, show me where it's hurting. And he points to the leg, but the wrong leg. The leg that was not even, and I was just like, it is sort of, and I was like, where exactly? And he points again to the wrong leg. And I'm like, and then I poke the other one, and the other, and this is Charu. No. And then this, not really hurting, Mum, like this, but can I still watch cartoons? Something like this. And then I was like, what? But I saw it. And then Charu starts to, like 20 minutes later, we're outside, he starts to climb a tree quite well. And I'm waiting for the pain. And I'm like, my God. Then I sneak by the doctor, our surgeon, and say, if Charu's leg is okay, without pain or nothing happens, would it be like a miracle? And he's like, well, yes, this is too much. There should be something, but he was like, don't be too optimistic yet, probably it may come. So the whole day passed, we're watching, and Charu also tries to ride a bike on this day as well. Everything is fine, and I'm like, it was like there's no pain at all in this leg. So I explained to Charu that I think it was a miracle of Lord Nrsingadev through Jagannath. And I said, should we tidy up the Lord's cart as a thank you? And little Charu understood the point and climbed up this cart, no problem, and was cleaning it all up. So somehow this is our prayer. And then I thought about this prayer. I had prayed that the Lord show that he really exists to my boy. So through this miracle, it was, okay, the Lord is here. Therefore, be careful of what you pray for. So, on the other side of it, it's very sweet how the Lord reciprocates and how we understand that the Lord is truly here. Our problem sometimes in spiritual life is that we don't take that point seriously enough. We get used to it. We get used to the fact that we're told, la 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 la, chanting's important. This will bring you back, la 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 la. We forget that actually it's true. At the beginning, actually, we may take it. It has a worth, but don't let it slip by. Which is always very nice for me that we get newer people to chanting and people who've been chanting much longer here. It's nice that Mataji also came. When I came 15 years ago, he was the only pujari here, basically. He was there morning, afternoon, and lunch. You remember this time? And I remember asking, like, is it okay? Yeah, it's okay. Surrender. Like this, like this. But he looked like he meant it. It didn't look like there was a undercover message behind. So I just mention it because that's the point of the surrender. One point that we raised from last week was that surrender will be different for all of us. Something that is easy for us to surrender may be difficult for another, and vice versa. So what a question for us is, what is that surrender? I thought about it for a while, and for me, there's so many things to do in spiritual life and in the temple, and I want to do it all sometimes. And then it gets too much, I don't want to do nothing then. So it's like this balance, like, just want to soak it all in. Like, sometimes I'm like, wow, that's a great book, let me read it. And then I start reading at 8 o'clock in the evening, and I can't remember a thing that I've read. So it's like a whole balance up of what that is. In some sense, for me, surrender looks like, let me home in on a few things that are very important to me and spend some time with that, as opposed to doing many things simultaneously, but not really feeling the full benefit of it. With a coach here, maybe she will agree with me. I don't know, Should we do it all? You want to say something, no? No, you look like you... No, okay. She'll maybe think of something later. So back to the topic of today. So in this idea that kirtan can help us, I thought today we would begin the exercise with a kirtan. Still okay? Kirtan, which our Alex will lead. The only thing that I ask is that I know sometimes a kirtan can be a time to a little switch off or daydream, but in these few minutes, just try to understand that each word that you sing can bring you closer to the divine. In each moment, just in this moment, and then straight after the kirtan, we will go into a short meditation and start to chant. That's our small aim today. So I ask you all, please get comfortable wherever you are. So wherever that may be. Generally for kirtan, it's very nice to see Lord Nrsingadev, but you don't have to. So if you need, do I need to move the ladies, or you can put on Alex to begin with if she doesn't mind. Come on. Do you need a microphone? It's okay. Oh, Niels, yeah, can she? Do you have or do you want to take this? Yeah, maybe it's easier. Shara, you want to take this to Alex? No, you want to put it on Niels? Okay. Take this to Alex.
Also, yeah, this one. No?
Not now.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
the yes. please get your beadbacks somewhere close to you. If you need to borrow, there is behind on the left or right. Stay with this beautiful kirtan. Thank you very much, Alex. It's very beautiful. If you like, you can. Everyone has beads with them? However you like. I wait because we need some quiet as we begin. I'll read a beautiful verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which the exercise is entitled Surrender to the Holy Name. If you like, it might be nice just to close your eyes as I read, but as you feel best. As baby birds that have not yet developed their wings always look for their mother to return and feed them, as small calves tied with ropes await anxiously the time when they will be allowed to drink the milk of their mothers, or as a morose wife whose husband is away from home always longs for him to return and satisfy her in all aspects. O lotus-eyed Lord, I always yearn for the opportunity to render direct service unto you. With this mood, as baby birds calling out for their mothers, we will begin to chant one round together. We begin in one voice. I ask kindly that you, at the beginning, chant a little louder than you may usually. This is just to help one another along the path. We will speed up and then we will go in our own rhythm. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A little faster. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, chant and call out for the Lord in your own rhythm until you finish the rhythm. When you finished your round, we slowly get back to another minute or however long. We slowly come back together where it's possible. Another few seconds more. Thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you for putting really an endeavor in this exercise. I could feel it vibrating in the room. I wanted to speak on another topic, but I won't because it's not, it can wait for another time. Because when we are in this mood of absorbing ourselves, or even trying to absorb ourselves in the divine, we open a portal, so to say, into something so very deep within that, of course, if we will pick up the books, it will tell us it is prema, it is love of God, it is something, but sometimes it's not so important to define exactly what is happening at that time that we have an experience. When you are touched by the Lord, when you will be touched when you chant and you feel it and you understand that this is the nature of the holy name being non-different from the Lord himself, it is not so important to define it in that aspect. But what is important is to understand what helped you to enter into that space. And this is why the aspect of Sharanagati or surrender is quite delicate. It requires on some level some vulnerability, some openness, some element where you let go of what is expected of you or what is the usual behavior. And therefore it's sometimes hard in a religious path because we may feel we have to keep a good composure or do all of this. But if this is a barrier to us reaching the Lord, then we should definitely in our private space go deeper than beyond that. Today we had a wonderful example where embraced what was happening, what letting that emotion be. I think Krishna Kshetra Swami has a whole series of lectures which talks about emotions in Krishna consciousness, and actually that it's a very valid element in our spiritual lives. So therefore, this chanting with surrender, normally we have the exercise and we say, okay, next week work on it. Next week we already have an element to surrender because we have the birthday of Lord Nrsingadev coming up. And it said the Lord on his appearance day gives many, many more blessings than on other days. How is it possible if we already feel his power now? This can be also overwhelming One time I had an ashram of 7 girls who cried on this one day out of some emotion towards the Lord, not just because there were some problems, but some emotion was going on. It's interesting in this way, yeah, to understand that the Lord will work on us. One time I had a little bit of the opposite experience. I had too much service and I was just way down, tick, tick, tick. I need to get it done, tick, tick, tick. And I had to go from this door back to the service I think I had in the shop. And it was the quickest way. But actually, I didn't want to be part of the kirtan. I had focus, service. And definitely one can say I felt a bit dull, but I just need to get it done. And literally from this entrance to this entrance, of course, there were many people on the way. It's like the kirtan was so powerful that it just lifted off whatever grayness I was feeling. And I still had to go to my service, but it was like a mood changer. I mean, it's rare that I've had such an experience, but I thought, wow, this kirtan is another level. One has to... And what was funny for me was I didn't think I was open at all in that moment. I was like, okay, whatever, I just have to go through. But still, the Lord is so merciful on such days with the power of the association. Association in that case is devotees singing the kirtan. And also amongst the crowd of people, you will have very many pure souls. That power that of a singing, not for show, not for recognition, but just to glorify the Lord. It's so powerful, it can also work on us. It can work on me. So I saw, but it was amazing. And next week, things can happen in this way. Things can change. Last year, I usually help to make the flower outfit, and normally people are like, oh, very nice, it was nice. Last year, people kept coming up to me and crying. And I was like, I was so tired. And I was like, oh my God, like, what happened? And they were like, flower outfit. And I was like, that bad? Like, oh. And the vision behind last year's outfit was that the Lord, especially for those of us who spend some time, we don't see Lord Nrsingadev as, someone with big teeth and he's ready to, glory it all out or whatever. We see this wonderful Lord who is so wonderful that just to protect his devotee, he appears. He's there to protect us and show just a reciprocation. It's not in that way like a story we're reading, but he literally comes and he's so ferocious that somebody would harm his devotee, but at the point that this devotee comes up and glorifies him, he so wonderfully puts him on his lap and licks him, and gives him blessings. It's there in the 7th canto that the Lord places his hand on Prahlad Maharaj and creates fearlessness in him. And that's always, for me at least, a major thing. I have so much fear sometimes. I thought, what would it be like to be completely fearless, knowing that the Lord protects you at every step? And if you look into the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj, he's not there when he's in this pit of snakes saying, Lord, help me. His focus is only on Govinda, only on the Lord. When he is being thrown off the cliff again, just focusing on the Lord, what would that be like? And I think at any moment, this was the beauty of Lord Chaitanya. It is not to say that 10, 20 years we can experience. At any moment when we choose to tune in on it, our life changes from a material to spiritual perspective. What is it like to actually feel the beauty of being in the Lord's protection and shelter? And that's the magic of this idea of chanting with surrender. Prabhupada speaks often of Japa, and he says, if we hold to the 4 regulative principles and we chant a sincere rounds, we will be protected from Maya. And I've heard that many times. I thought, okay. I said, but what does it mean that there is some protection through just this little bead bag here? Somehow, if we unlock it, we can be protected from this whole throw of material illusion and the material heaviness that can fall upon us. and therefore it's wonderful to also to try to do this in a collective way together. So just a few moments for any feedback or questions or anything like this. If anyone can speak, if you're not too shy, please don't worry if you are shy, on how that exercise was for you. I try not to look at the usual suspects. I have an online comment. Beautiful Krishna darshan, kirtan. My mind was swaying, body moving, gentle while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra during Japa today. Thank you. That's nice. Any volunteers? Oh yes, Kiana. Thank you. Yes.
For me, when we were chanting, it really felt like, even now talking about it, I'm starting to cry again. Calling out to Nishingadev.
Camera has to be on you.
For me, it was very much calling out to Nishingadev and asking him to protect me. And I feel such a connection with Nishingadev because he is a protector. And this is really, really special to me. And I just start crying and feeling these very, very deep emotions of reaching out to Nishingadev. And I'm feeling like the goosebumps on my arms as well. And it was just, it's very, very moving because earlier today I was chanting, but I'm very struggling to focus on my chanting, and I tried many different ways of moving and walking or sitting, and I was just trying, but all the time my mind would slip away to all these other things. But now this was a very, very sincere round, and it brought me to tears pretty much immediately. And so thank you for holding a space where I could have a sincere round in this way. And thank you to everybody for being here, because of course the energy of everybody in the room chanting together is something that's very, very precious. And yeah, it's a shame that we only get to do it a little bit in the morning, really.
Just want to share. Is anyone else before I? Oh,
I can share, maybe not exactly to this exercise, but I was living a few months in big city, in the center big city, in a huge concrete building with all day and half night elevator and trams and some traffics and so on. And when 1 week ago I came here, I understood, wow, I was a few months struggling to control my mind, and I came here and just be here, my mind is peaceful. and I understood how environment is so important for practicing bhakti yoga. You know. Of course, if somebody is very strong, like Srila Prabhupada, who can chant in New York, but for us, we should be, at least for me, I should be very conscious about environment, and sometimes, you just change the place and your mind is completely in different world. It's my small reflection.
Because it is like this, that we are in a different space here. We are, a window to the spiritual world. In one sense, being in the holy Dham. Yesterday, where were we? We were somewhere away, I think by Charu's school, somewhere. And as Ramananda drove back, I said, it's quite different outside. I said, we're in a different world here in Himachal. Even as we leave, it's like something lifts up and we have to go out. But, after being here a while, when it's looking a little bit misty-eyed, okay, this is some space outside. And before that used to worry me. I used to be like, oh, I won't be able to relate to the outside world or this and the other. But I find actually the opposite. When you are genuinely yourself and genuinely can find some peace and happiness, people naturally come forward and see that. They enter into that space, even with the locals that, like, the school invited themselves here and kindergarten. We didn't ask them, they wanted to come. So when we are genuine in our role, and as we move away from a fanatic way of being, then it also becomes easier. But back to Madai's point, the environment is important. Someone asked me some days ago, but like, should it matter? Shouldn't I be anywhere and I feel okay? But it is like, say, we're not like Prabhupada, but also the fact that this material energy is also very strong. And actually in our tradition, we were told many times for Prabhupada to be careful of it. So therefore it makes sense to find ourselves in environments where we feel that we can be our best at, in that way. Unless you have to, unless somebody orders you have to go out for some aspect, but one needs to be there. I always make a joke that I came here for 2 or 3 months and I've been here for the last 14 years. But definitely part of it is that environment where I know that I'm at the best place that I can possibly be. Astrologically, someone came very good astrologer, did astrocartography. So I didn't know so much. I just say basically, so she could ascertain where your lines are according to your astrology, where it's good for you to be. And I told her, I know when you look up this place, this is not going to be my best astrological lines, but I don't want to know about that. I want to know how to get through what it is. Basically, this is, for me at least, a line where we'll bring up anything or everything that I could suppress or be or whatever, For spiritual life, it's perfect. But for a typically reserved British lady, so to say, it's terrible, because I want to keep it together, but it doesn't happen in such an environment. In England, this is where my lines are very exalted, everything happens. I said, yeah, I didn't have to try anything, but spiritually I felt dead. So this was the difference of what we choose in our lives. But of course one can say, okay, you can wait for everything to line up, but somehow, for me at least, I choose at this moment what works for me most spiritually. And with that, I truly felt the Lord reciprocated by giving what I needed. Also for me in terms of shelter of a husband, also children, whatever, still in this environment. So it wasn't, in one sense one can say it's material, like a family, but it was also necessary for a path as well. And those people that I could enter into association because we walk spiritually. Like you see, Charu is a little bit more the cameraman than the Japa Chanta when he comes, but amazing that he comes each time with just a little Charu, time to go, so there is some enthusiasm and way of being. A last quote, because I don't want to go too long over, is, it's actually because Niels asked me, how was it for you? A japa workshop only works so much with reciprocation. I can otherwise sit there quite happily and chant and read, it's very nice. So, and I was feeling, because we have a course which is in person and also online. So I have a different group. And I felt a little bit like some feeling was being lost. And this time I didn't keep to my script, because it wasn't quite fitting. And that's where I felt that one gets the most at sometimes. So it's a bit different, I think, than if you're a Bhakti Shastra teacher. I'm not sure. You maybe have to keep, I'm not sure. Maybe after some years you learn how to put the right element in. But this time I just was more moved because I could hear the sincerity of the chanting and of those chanting. And it also moved me also to think again of this topic. What would it be like if I really, when I chanted, to call out for Krishna like a child calling out for his mother? What would this be? This is something that if some says this is New Age, this is directly from Prabhupada, from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? To call out for the Lord in such a way. And then also the secondary factor, what's stopping me? What's holding me back? You know, and can I let go of those chains? It says the nature of the Lord is such that whenever he sees someone walking on the path of Sharanagati, of shelter, and taking shelter of his divine names, he will turn towards that devotee and say, yes, what do you wish for? For in a resolve, I give myself to you, O Lord. Thank you so much for joining. Please let any of the positive elements be carried with you, and the other things can let slide away. Any questions before or after, let me know. This was inspiring to give a class with devotees who are longer on the path and also newer and also in between. It's always interesting to see what will happen. Thank you. Keep going, Kin. I'm so happy also that it worked out after struggling, because that also showed your sincerity, as most of us will face our mind at, sort of maybe 16 hours of the day, when we're awake. So we have this aspect, and then at one moment it pushes through, And for you, also the Japa workshop, we do different exercises to see what works. So one exercise may work better than the other, and that's the point, to take what will help us. So therefore, one indication is that that you need to look at what your inner orientation is, not just you know what I mean. Body, like, is what's going on, what's happening now, and to put that over to the Lord. Very nice. Thank you.